And the bottles, they're jewels, you know. This is garbage. And it comes out like stained glass jewels. My dad saved everything. Mayonnaise jars, milk cartons, keys. He saved everything in the basement. And you go down there and every mayonnaise jar that we had ever used was down there. He didn't know what to do with them. He didn't really have uses for them. He just said, that's too good to throw away. This is the first house built out of beer cans. It's called the thumb house because it looks like a thumb. See, it's actually in as good a repair as any of the ones after it. But see, there you can see, there's still, you know, that's the beer can building blocks right there. We made houses with bricks in my world. So I made a brick out of cans, wired together with little pieces of foil for reflectors. I built 2 or 3 houses this way and went on to just using cans by themselves. It's a solid wall, 35 years later. First hint of the beginning of orienting windows to the south. I was just getting aware of the fact that you can get some solar gain into a room by doing this. From doing what I've been doing as long as I have and seeing that cities are real close to dying or falling apart because of all the infrastructure failing, and they're just dangerous areas of chaos that can't support themselves any longer. So I see them getting abandoned, and I see beyond that people going back to the cities just to mine out the goods. What else do we have on this planet that we throw away and we have it in abundance? Tires. Tires were resilient and thermal and super strong and didn't take cement, and you know, you can build a whole tire wall with dirt and a shovel and tires.
He's totally obsessed. He's very one-pointed, very single-minded, and yeah, he has very strong focus for certain things.
And we beat the earth into the tires with sledgehammers, and it was really tight. It was like a compacted 90% brick. In the early 70s, they're talking about solar and trying to store thermal mass in houses, and I'm getting a bit of a consciousness of thermal mass. Beating dirt into tires was mass. Mass holds temperature. And I'm like, oh my God, this thermal mass thing is intense. I mean, it's like, oh, man, it's powerful. Thermal mass, once you have established it around you, it doesn't go away. This is the first one that we actually called an earthship. I needed a house because I was just getting married to Chris, and here it is 20 years later, and we still live in it because it works. Very simple, easy to build. That's all beer cans plastered over. There's no doors, there's no wall. It's basically a series of U-shaped rooms, all connected with a greenhouse. All of the glass is facing the sun, and the low winter sun comes right in and floods the house and is absorbed into the massive walls of the tires. and just stored there. Just heating-wise, there's just no heating bill. There's no heating or cooling bill here. We have a fireplace. We use it on Christmas. And that's it. It's a big deal to get ready for winter here because you can die because it gets 30 below, even 35 below 0 Fahrenheit here. Your tongue can freeze to your lips if you aren't careful. It gets that cold. And here we've been living here almost 20 years with no heating system. That takes a huge bit of stress off of the person, but it also takes it off of the planet. This is a compound that we started working on 30 years ago. This is like a little testing site, really. This whole decade of work here was just evolution. You couldn't worry about what it looked like, you just wanted it to work. Then we built a giant windmill here that's been taken off of the building now, and it worked so well that we had to build a building around it because it was about to take off. It made a huge amount of power. So all of these buildings just represent trial and error experiments and a learning situation. That's the first building right there. They call it the grandfather of earthships because it was the first building that really tried to put it all together. This was the first absolutely off of all grids building that we did, and maybe first one that was ever done. I mean, it's definitely a wild shape, made to go up and get the wind. This was the first place where I put wind, solar, greenhouse, garbage building, everything together in one building, and this is what it ended up looking like. Everything was intense. Everything about what we were doing and the buildings and the life was just like absolutely striking intense the whole time. People would come out here and they'd never want to leave. It was a time of magic, that's what I can say. Living in that building, I mean, this is like 25 years ago. I had my own power. I had food growing. I didn't need heat. I was like, Jesus Christ, man. I am free. I am absolutely free. The state of mind that that put you in. You can get up in the morning and you own your life. Well, I can do whatever I want because I don't have to do anything to stay alive. We have the potential to enhance the planet. Trees enhance the planet, though people could go way further. I can see the earth glowing like a sun just from what people do to it, just making the earth sing like music rather than shit floating in rivers and chemicals in the air.